Hey, all you awesome people. This is Chad Warren. It is September 2nd, Monday, 8:27 a.m. Central Time here in, I mean, I guess this is Little Rock still, out here in the forest. Anyway, road to Lake Winona. Okay, so, if y'all know me, you know that I think that both sides of politics are controlled by the Freemasons. The Freemasons used to be mystic Christian, like white magic or whatever you want to call it. But that was before the Scottish Rite, before the whole American experience. So it's always been a corrupt tool of British Zionism. The reason why you have a royal family is they act that like this is why I hate Christianity, which I think is a controlled opposition scam, because they act like royals because they're saying, oh well, Jesus is not here and we are operating on behalf of Jesus in Christendom, and that justifies them running the world. Like the Bible says that Lucifer runs the whole physical world. So, like a lot of things, it's really not the people at the top of the power pyramid, Lucifer and these politicians and royal families, that I have an issue with. It's you and me for buying into this WWF Trump garbage, like Hulk Hogan being at the Republican National Convention. Enough is enough! Of referencing the Illuminati card with the picture that people think looks like Trump and all this jazz. But the way propaganda works is that, it has to be like 80% truth to get the fish to bite on the bait. And then it's even more complex because I perceive that the powers that be, I don't see what's stopping them from killing any of us, unless it is actual, maybe Jesus is real and that's what keeps it all in check, or maybe they themselves are the creators, that, it's the people that do the work that they are the best of the best, these industrial giants and the people that make the computers, and we're sitting here illiterate using all of this big tech, have no idea what do we deserve but to be screwed over. That's just true. So I agree with the Bible that the greater evil is what good people don't do. And so many of these teachings from this Kabbalah Luciferian perspective are so ingrained in us. When you go to grade school, right, first, second, third grade, etc., well, that's an enlightenment principle. You're climbing this ladder to success, the stairway to heaven, blah 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 blah, and it just goes on and on and on. So it's foolish to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just do it. Okay, that is Luciferianism 101. And who doesn't agree with that? Just shut your goddamn mouth and do it. So, that to me is the way this has to be dealt with. You have to make decisions at each point in time, and sometimes you're being critical, and then other times you're saying, we need to use this. So I agree with all these things that people follow Trump for in the Republican Party or whatever. Most especially that we need to focus on the children, because I think that there's less and less love in the world. Marriages are dying. Everybody acts like a bunch of meth addict, crack addict, criminals released from prison in a drug orgy, stealing catalytic converters, where they all screwing each other over, and that's all anybody is spread like a disease, and now, everybody is operating under that kind of behavior, whether it's in a man and woman relationship or at your job or whatever. We're all in this criminal gang of communism. So anyway, I just want to show you this commercial highlighting the RFK focus on kids' health. There's been, according to the European Union, a 46% increase in, is it total vax deaths or is it among youth? But I think the key is it's like how you play the game. You can't change the game, meaning there are natural forces. The way that these globalists rule the world is like what I learned from a book called The Vipers of Venice by Joseph P. Farrell, and it focuses on the Venetian oligarchy and how kind of like you lay in wait as a hunter in the Serengeti as animals come across this wide area, and then you boom, get them. The more powerful position is not to be focused on where you are and building up from there. It's to have this hidden network, like the Knights Templar was a kingdom without a king and a place. It's a network of people secretly aligned with each other that look at world trade in the movement of it, in control. And that's why we hear the phrase globalism, right? That these people at that level don't have any allegiance to a nation. They don't have any skin in the game. And then they get us to separate off into Japan, China, Russia, and fight each other so they can stay at the top. So I think if the problem that I see is that InfoWars is kind of like the Senate of the alternative right. And while it's not their responsibility to lead, right? It's our responsibility at the local level to go get in touch with City Hall, which I never do, and you know what I mean? I'm trying to be the consciousness within this alternative truth-seeking community that talks about politics, conspiracy, occult topics, and get us to take action. And I'm fully upfront about my own inability to do that. So I'm thinking of this on terms of like, we need a group where people raise their hand. Hi, I'm Chad, I'm an alcoholic. Something like AA, but hey, I'm Chad, I'm a truthaholic. I really mean well, but have I done anything to help these kids that are trafficked, or am I just watching videos? So I think we should apply pressure to InfoWars of like, don't tell me this information without directing me to a local resource, an InfoWars local office, to then go in and engage with the politics or whatever the thing of it is. But this is a really good ad, the feeling and the history and the connection with RFK to Trump, so we can start talking to Democrats that want to follow suit and form a unity, because this happened in the last Civil War, where the Democrats that were against slavery had to leave the Democrat Party to start the Whig Party. Well, I think that's right. And it became the Republican Party. So it was actually the Democrats that are pro-Klan, pro-slavery. And it's a total failure of people on the right that we let them run this race game. I went, here's a side note. I took a temp job and I worked at a factory for a company that makes very high class faucets, you know, those kind of things. And watched the story about the company in a boardroom with the HR person and the other people, and it was really cool. I really love stories about companies. But they showed us this DEI video, and it was the most cucked, humiliating, racist bullshit ever. It had a cartoon, and the white man was shown being lectured by the white woman, being lectured by the black woman, it was clear. They talk about we want to treat everybody the same, but it's obvious in there that the white man is the enemy. Joe Biden, the white supremacy is the number one problem. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. All this just horse shit. So, here we go.
A video that I saw Elon Musk put out this morning that is very powerful. And we're going to augment it a bit with them shooting Trump as well, and JFK's head blowing up. But this is very powerful. Musk is going all out with everything he's got against the globalists, and we're going to hit that incredible news that's so important in the blueprint for the globalist control coming up. So I want to air this short special report if you want to share it. Again, Real Alex Jones is an arsenal of resistance. So is Infowars.com. And they were censoring us for so long, but now we're breaking out everywhere, so now's the time to share the links more than ever. Here's the report.
This conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. Yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun rise.
This country will do whatever must be done to protect its own security and that of its allies.
General, we got a message from Khrushchev which said that he would withdraw these missiles fighting. We did not plan to invade Cuba.
Now the time has come for this nation to fulfill its promise. A country is as strong really as its citizens, and I think that mental and physical health, mental and physical vigor go hand in hand. A great change is at hand, and our task, our obligation, is to make that revolution, that change, peaceful and constructive for all.
Run in the shadows, damn your love, damn your life.
President Kennedy has been assassinated.
And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I guess
The time for debate is over. The time has come to unite. We are a strong and we are a courageous people. I am announcing today my candidacy for the presidency of the United States. I do not run to oppose any man, oppose his policies. Policies to end the bloodshed in Vietnam. Policies to close the gaps that now exist between black and white, between rich and poor. I run for the presidency because I want the Democratic Party and the United States of America to stand for hope instead of despair. My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there.
break the silence, damn the dark, damn the light.
If you're going to do anything important with your life, there's going to be a hero's journey where you go through the valley of death. You feel you're completely alone. When my uncle was president, everybody was talking about Camelot. And I ended up reading a book about Camelot called The Once and Future King. It gave me the capacity to process pain in a different way. The trick to life is to not have expectations, but just to know what your duty is and to do it. You become relentless. Nobody can defeat you.
Tonight I'm very pleased to welcome Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I couldn't help but be impressed by RFK's connecting this thing.
Running in the shadows.
We are in a war with the globalists, whether you like it or not. Hell, I've already committed my name, my life, my family, my treasure.
So the basic question I'm posing to you here is, I'm real critical of my behavior and that of my fellows in the alternative media community making these podcasts, and because it's like we've been listening to stuff for decades. Do you have your food prepped? Do you have your victory garden? So I don't think a lot of us do. So the question is, and when I look at Christianity, I go, how is this distinguishable between the television movie I watched as a kid, Mazes and Monsters, where Tom Hanks plays a character back when they were scared, the satanic panic of the 80s, they were scaring the shit out of everybody that Dungeons and Dragons was going to make you go into this insanity where you think that the game is real, and he's down in the subway thinking it's a dragon, but it's a subway car, right? So that's not really happening to that many people to be concerned with, but we believe in this American story that is just as much of a dream as Camelot. So the question is people are going to choose a compelling story over the truth any day. And the problem is that the smarter you are, the more you're able to believe your own bullshit, and other people aren't smart enough to challenge you. So that's a fact, that you're more likely to just be reinforcing your biases than you are to yield to the truth no matter which way it goes. So how do we, I think it's a two-way street as far as we can apply pressure to Trump, we can apply pressure to Alex and RFK and our local leaders. I do believe it's a two-way street. I don't care if the same royal families have ruled since the time of ancient Persia and Babylon or whatever. I think that somehow there is a need and an ability for us to do good. Even if there may be these Kali Yuga cycles, and March 20th of 2025 is the lowest of the Iron Age before it swings back up into the Golden Age, which is, by the way, if you read a book, War for Eternity, by Professor Benjamin Teitelbaum, he interviewed Steve Bannon and Alexander Dugin, who's the Alex Jones, Rasputin to Putin, Chaos Mage. They believe in accelerationism, meaning that the only thing you can do is to speed up the destruction of all of this to go where we're going. And I think that's a fair question to pose with myself. I tend to be, well, the closest, I'm not for any government, I'm for cooperation. One-on-one, cooperating with yourself, getting to know yourself, and following where you're led by Father Creator and Mother Nature, and your discernment, in doing that with two people and growing up grassroots from there. But I also do, like the idea of the Constitution, and would like to align with pro-Constitution people and focus on that instead of political parties and that kind of a thing. Get the UN out. So, what do you think about RFK joining? How can we use these compelling narratives to actually monitor our progress? Why is it there's just this talking? Where do we get on an individual level, how can I translate my consumption of alt media and then show progress, right? I was watching last night I highly recommend, check out Robert Phoenix. That he's an astrologer, and he does excellent commentary on popular culture, and he uses celebrities every day that represent the astrology today, the weather, like what's going on today by looking at this person and their behavior. But last night he did this amazing thing where he analyzed this movie from the maybe 50s or 60s. I think it's called Patterns, and it was all about, it was evidently directed or written by Rod Serling, Twilight Zone, and it was all about the corporate environment and how it, destroys any integrity in the name of profit, versus understanding that the people that work for your company are more important than how you can do all these financial games and grow dollars and on a balance sheet, but then act like that's not going to, and we obviously are at the other end of that, where we can see, yeah, this totally destroys everything. And he shows how each of the people in the movie, this guy's named Ramsey, and he's the ram that keeps butting his head, and you really see how all stories are based naturally, let alone not people. This exists naturally. It's just that people have observed this and can use that in storytelling about these archetypes of how these different forces and personalities are going to clash, and how each one of them, even if they end up good or bad, from our point of view, you respect that they serve a purpose, just like when you mix food together, and that's alchemy and chemistry there. So check that out as well. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share. And be sure to check out what else I am doing over at Linktree, chad.warren. I do Amazon Associates. Anything you buy through this link, right? I'll get a cut of that. You can do that too for free. I can show you that. I have a blog on Medium. I haven't been updated in a while. I have a book club. If you're in the central Arkansas area, or really anywhere, you could do it virtually, but I'm more trying to do it just to gain a greater social network. And we are reading A Path Lit by Lightning. Oh, I forget the author at the moment. I apologize, but it is about the Native American athlete Jim Thorpe, who won the 1912 Olympic, I believe, pentathlon and decathlon gold medals. And those, I think, are stripped away from him because it was discovered that he played minor league baseball. And it was supposed to be, and that's a very interesting subject, even me not being big into sports, but it's very neat that there was still some integrity about what is the point of sports. It's supposed to be that before that, in the past, you had wars in Europe and in England, etc. So you had to have a militia ready, so your farmers could transition from coming to be able to fight, and so you would want to have readiness. And I think that the Freemasons, of course, are involved in the creation of baseball and all these sports, angels in the outfield, all these concepts are embedded in there. And you had the growth of the middle class, and then you had free time. But really all that is doing is like transitioning people away from military readiness and from working. So now, you know what I mean, we've been weakened because this system has been perverted. So I can understand 100 plus years ago they were trying to protect the line between amateur sports. And it's fascinating too about the whole, all the money that gets thrown to ball players because that's popular, and how that corrupts the education system and all of that, and there needs to be a balance there. This is Networking Towards Gnosis, my appearance on End of Days Radio, where I'm just, doing what I am now, kind of being critical of our behavior in our own community and seeking to network one person equally as opposed to looking up to Tucker Carlson and these big people at the top. This is the mental breakthrough with Dr. Christopher, and he is a person who really is living his dream. He was into MMA fighting, and he moved to, I think it's Thailand, and found a wife and has kids and has, eco village retreat type of thing. Very cool. I do reviews of restaurants and tourist type of things in the Central Arkansas area. If you want to submit your podcast to be reviewed on my Facebook group, you can buy me some coffee. And if you want to have me promote your business or an event, I'm a very novice marketer, but I can do this for free. And you can talk to Derek up at Cafe Mia Moore. He and his mother run that, and they have appreciated the response I've gotten from sharing my Google Maps review on various hot springs Facebook groups, like a food group and stuff like that. You can check out my favorite songs playlist, and you can start your own. And if you have like 1,000 people, which that's the big goal for the influencers, evidently, by the way. If you have 1,000 people that support you every month, that's not even including money, but $5 a month would be amazing. You'd be set. But this is a way that you can practice those networking skills in a fun way. And then, of course, I do book reviews. I'm reading more because I haven't been reading. Been into all these podcasts, but you can check that down at Goodreads. And I'm not just here like, hey, look at me. I want you to actively share with me, and that we build up a really grassroots, strong, organic, one-on-one network where we're not spending all this time consuming media, but we're co-creating with each other and monitoring performance metrics to see that we're achieving goals. Like, one of my big goals is to have a multi-use venue that will eventually become an open source franchise that everybody can establish, just like we have coffee houses everywhere. We need a place where you can meet locally based on interests that you share with other people that are easier to discover via your smartphone and social media. And that's the critical component. It's, tools are neutral. Social media is a tool. It's just being used improperly, so that the marketers are getting all the advantages of being able to target you. And instead of just being afraid of big data, right, we need to be using that tool to find our people, find the people that are looking to take action. So thank you very much for your time, and have a good day.